Guys, listen. Sometimes you gotta give that woman right back to the type of man that she's used to. Because hear me clearly, not every woman is built for the version of you that's healing, growing, and elevating and becoming a better man. Some women are addicted to chaos. Unfortunately, that's just the truth. Some are only comfortable in dysfunction. Some only understand men they can control, manipulate, or emotionally drain because that's what they're used to. So when you show up as a man with direction, a man who has standards, who has emotional clarity, and a man who embodies peace, it scares her. It confuses her. It honestly exposes everything in her that hasn't yet healed. And suddenly, you become the problem. You become too much. When really, you're just not the kind of man that she's used to. So listen, please hear me out. You are not responsible for shrinking yourself down so that she can feel comfortable. You are not obligated to dim your light to match her darkness. And you are not required to stay where your value is ignored or your presence is taken for granted. Sometimes the most powerful move that you can make is to step back, release that woman with grace, and let her return to what she understands. Because a woman who's not ready for a good man will always sabotage one.
Yo, someone please explain to me, what build is this?
Hi girls, I'm Jess. This is my body and this is my belly overhang. I shared this online to help other women feel seen and represented. Today we're going to be trying on some gorgeous activewear in a lovely chocolate brown
Overhang.
colour. Take a look at these.
Oh, what the hell?
This is a gorgeous halter neck top. It does have the padding in as well. You can remove them. This is a gorgeous colour, a really lovely material. It really does its job of supporting the girls. So we've got these gorgeous chocolate brown leggings, high-waisted, sculpted. These are the leggings. They are full length, very high-waisted. To pair with these, I've got this lovely gym jacket. I say gym, but this outfit you can definitely wear if you're just going on like a nice walk, or if you just want a cozy day, if you're doing the school run. This is the jacket. It is very sculpted. You can
What
wear
is
it
this?
It's like this. It's got the lovely thumb holes here. Option 2, you have got this gorgeous hoodie, chocolate brown from the same collection, oversized, really thick, good quality material. Great alternative to the gym top. Girls, if you do want to shop this outfit, comment link down below and I'll send it straight to you in a message.
I have never seen a build like this. Honestly speaking, how do you even get like this? How do you allow yourself to get like that? How does that even come? Like, it's like, I don't know, like squash with skinny vine legs, hamburglar, you know, like Homer Simpson face, Mondo burger. It's wild. I've never seen some shit like that. And then she got the sweater and all you see is some skinny legs. There's no way you going out to meet someone and you take the sweater off and they see that. There's no part of me that'll be excited for that at all. You know, kudos to her for being brave enough to just be out there like that. But you put this shit online, there's no way. There's no way no one's gonna say nothing. Yo, this build is crazy. No RPG, someone's picking that. It's like the onion suit from Dark Souls. Like, that shit's crazy. There's no way I would not be motivated to get rid of that. Post haste, quick, expeditiously, now. Like, just bewitched, move the nose, whatever. That shit is, nah, man, I could never. My body would get nauseous and have me sick to not do something with that. Like, it would just, nah. That's a red flag. So I've never seen this build. Oof. Have you?
I feel like this is her. She may have lost weight or something like that. And this is the end result of that. She just hasn't had the surgery, or maybe she has had a surgery. I'm not 100% sure. But I think the most diabolical thing is that hoodie. Whoa. I'm sitting there thinking, now how's she going to get away with that? That hoodie. Wow.
Women attack men when they're happy.
Attack men when men are happy?
Mm-hmm.
So wait, why do women do that?
Because happiness and power comes together in a man's body. And the power is scary. And so we have to diminish the power. So we will attack them when they're happy. They come home, they caught a big fish or whatever it was they did. If it wasn't something that I did that gave you that feeling, then that's a problem.
You're more excited to go out with your friends.
It's supposed to make you happy.
All right, we are here in the matter of Wilkes versus Thompson, case number 306DP. I've read the motion. I will note that Alaya is not here. It's now 9:17. This matter was set for hearing at 8:30. I'm granting the motion to enforce the parenting time. I am also granting an actual hearing, and I'm going to make it before the judge. What I need from you, sir, is the exact dates that were missed.
We have those, Your Honor. He hasn't seen his child since April 19th.
Right.
Or April 9th. I'm sorry. He has missed 14 overnights.
Yeah.
I'd also like an order that he could immediately go retrieve the child.
Yes, he can. To enforce his parenting time only, he'll have to return the child. So he gets his days for now. What I'm reserving is makeup time, because I need to know the exact days that were missed, and I'm setting this in front of the judge, because if she doesn't show there, a bench warrant will be issued for her arrest.
I will do the order, Your Honor.
He can do that quicker than I can. I have a 21-day appeal period on my arrest warrant, on my bench warrants. So it's like I'd rather get this done quickly, especially since it's been going on.
And it would be my understanding this would be her normal parenting time weekend, so he will be enforcing his parenting time from Monday.
From Monday, yes. That'll give time for the order to set. Okay?
Thank you.
I will sign that today if you send it by DocuSign.
Yeah,
Good luck, Mr. Thompson. I look forward to seeing your children. Have a good day.
Thank you.
So all the men from my previous post saying that they have found peace by being alone and they're not trying to date because they just want peace. Are you trying to say that we don't bring peace to your life? I have to disagree. I do not think that if a woman that you so desired was available to you, you would choose peace over commitment, sex, good meals with conversation, and things like that. So I'm going to call your bluff.
Ideally, guys want a good woman and they want peace. They want both, right? The idea is that they would have a good woman who brings them peace, right? Not some, trashy, run the mouth, complain, nag, who doesn't bring them peace. Like in that case, they would rather just have the peace, honey.
12 brutal truths about women. Money edition. Number 1. She is addicted to emotions and your money makes her feel something. She cares less about the money than she does the feeling. Number 2. She will absolutely stick by a brokey if he's giving her feelings that she doesn't think she can get elsewhere. Number 3. Whatever you catch her with is what you'll need to keep her around. So if you lead with money, you'll need to have money to keep her around. If you lead with game, you just gotta keep being a player. Number 4. She will financially support you if she loves you, but not forever. Number 5. The more times she comes out of pocket, the worse she feels, and her diminishing love is attached to that feeling. Number 6. Every one of them is for sale. They just haven't had the right number put in front of them yet. Number 7. For your reference, average cost of acrylic nails is $70. Average cost of a hairdo is $80. Average cost of a mani-pedi is $60. Number 8. They will always ask for double. Number 9. Dating a rich dude sets her bar for future dudes at how rich that dude was. Number 10. Going 50-50 at all in the beginning turns all women off. Number 11. If she never seems happy, it's a strategy. If she was 100% content, she'd have nothing to extract. Number 12. If she makes more money than you, she will feel less attracted to you.
Adam and I got married. I think we were married about a year, and I got a DM from an ex. And he was like, hey, what's up? How you been? Congratulations. I never responded, and I show Adam right away because I believe the enemy obviously wants to tear a marriage apart. If you're allowing a DM from an ex to stay and not tell your spouse, you are thinking about that. You are allowing the enemy to let that grow, sit there and harbor and make you feel good about yourself. Yep. Or on a lonely night or an upset night, you will go and respond and return that response. I knew in that moment, I need to show you right away. That is inappropriate. It was wrong. I did not respond and it is deleted. If you're like, I don't know how to tell my spouse because he's going to be upset. He's going to be more upset if you didn't tell him and he finds out.
If you do not have money as a man, what is your worth? And I'm asking this as a genuine question. Women literally hold the portal to life between our legs, and whether we decide to use it or not, or have the ability to use it or not, it's still there. And that's why women will always be worth what we are. But as a man, if you cannot protect your family, provide for your family, give abundance to your family of wealth and happiness, what are you worth?
It is women that actually disrupt the family, and then they get upset with the results of a disrupted family.
Or they just want to keep the woman so that she's running the household. I don't know if it's necessarily I don't know. Men can't function as well without women as women can without a man. So I feel like when he hears divorce is on the table, it's going to disrupt his whole life a lot more. And I feel like that's really what they're thinking.
Well, most men will probably be upset because essentially they spent the better part of their life trying to build something and build something for somebody that they thought was going to be there for a good portion of their life. When I say good portion, I mean for the rest of their life. So yes, when you come in and say, well, I don't want this anymore, I want to go do my own thing. And a lot of modern women are diabolical in a way that they'll say, I don't want this anymore between you and I. But then what they'll also do is take what you've built and try to go give it to somebody else. Does that make sense? They'll try to, instead of, because they say, oh man, this is terrible, I don't want to be with this person, or he's terrible, I don't want to be in this relationship anymore. Then they'll try to take all of the resources from the marriage, from that relationship, and then put it in a new life, basically. And it's like, well, I earned this, and I work for this, and this. Well, how come you don't just take what you earned, the stuff that you built, the stuff that you put together, and then build your new life? Some of these ladies out here want alimony. They want a man to pay certain portions of whatever, in child support. And I don't know if we talk about enough stuff outside of child support, right? Money that they want the man to give outside of child support, right? So, okay, you're giving me alimony. Okay, you're giving me child support for those situations that are applicable. But modern women want the man to even pay. Okay, so I just spent $300 on some miscellaneous thing that the man didn't even know about. And then they'll try to hit up the man for money. And the man is like, well, I already sent child support and I already sent you money for alimony, so that should cover your lifestyle or whatever. Yeah, but it's not. I just realized I was going to be short. And they know good and well they shouldn't be asking the man, but they have nobody else. So the only thing that they know how to do is ask the man. And it gets even more diabolical because the man is essentially in those situations going to say, no, I'm not supporting you anymore. I'm not going to continue to let you mess up my life anymore. And that's when the woman's going to try to take him back to court and say, well, I want more of this, this, and this. They're going to snoop on his LinkedIn. They're going to try to get pay stubs and ascertain how much he makes, regardless of if he makes more or not. That man might be even making less, but because her lifestyle is going down the gutter, which it was in the marriage, but she thought she could do better, she's going to try to take him back to court and get more money from him, get more resources from him. Modern women always try to strong arm men into what they want them to do, right? And this just goes to, oh, well, men can't function as well without women as women can without men. No, what you essentially end up doing is taking the man's resources and then, oh, you can't function without me. Well, you took all my resources, right? You're a disruption. Going back to that point, you're a disruption to my life because I spent time building around you and building for and customizing your life for you. And now you say, I don't want this life anymore. I'm going through a totally different headspace and I have to leave. So now I, at say for instance, 35, 40, and a lot of times 50 years old, I got to start all over again. When I'm trying to cruise on to retirement, I got to start all over again. You're taking half my pension, my retirement, at least. I got to start all over again. So, I mean, yeah, if somebody were to take what I built on my job and now you work and you got a pension for it or a retirement fund for yourself, but you over here digging in mine. If somebody were to take that from me, I'd be upset. That would definitely be a disruption. That would definitely be an inconvenience to most people, I would think.
I love loving my husband. I love cooking for my husband. And he's had a long day today. He's been on calls most of the day. And when he's finished, he's going to come downstairs and there's going to be a table full of food. I've made cornbread, I've made cottage pie, I've made a plum pie, we're going to make some custard. Like, it's all good. And I love loving him. And because of, this is one of the things that I love Jesus for. I used to have so much bitterness in my heart because I've had my heart broken so many times, and God had to deliver me from so much heartbreak in the past, and he had to deliver me from being used by the wrong people, giving myself to the wrong people. That all had to come out, so that all I had left was this fleshy, warm, soppy heart. And when I met him and I knew he was my husband, we got married really quickly, and now I get to live a life of being a wife and providing a peaceful home for him and baking all his favorite treats all the time. And it makes me really happy. And I used to be a boss babe, and I used to make money, and I used to travel and do all these fun things, and it's nothing compared to sitting my husband down at the table and just serving him all this food. It makes me so happy. I'm so happy. I love him so much. And I wish, oh my gosh, I wish that the women that are so bitter in their hearts because one man hurt them, so one man hurt them, so now they hate every man. One man used them, so now all men are wasters according to them. I pray that God heals their hearts so that they get to experience the fulfillment of family. There's a reason why family gets attacked. It's because it's the most important thing. And I've done so many things in my life, and yet nothing compares to loving my husband. I love him, I respect him, I honor him, and I'm so proud of him. He's worked so hard today. He's just been working all day and talking to people all day, and he's going to be tired, and he's going to have all this food. He's going to have all this food in front of him, and he's got me so happy, and it makes me so happy. I love loving him, and I'm so proud of him. He's such a great husband, but also such a great worker, and he's always praying over people and loving people, and he just speaks to strangers on the internet, praying over them, listening to their problems. He's such a good man, and he deserves all the food and all the cuddles and all the foot rubs and all the love in the world. That is the man I'm married to, and I love loving him.
We have placed the neuroses of women front and center in the American consciousness. And that doesn't mean that we've placed women's interests front and center. Far, far, far from it. We have placed the neuroses of women who are interested in being vocal and active front and center, and allowed those neuroses to triumph over reality. And my line of evidence here is this piece. On page 60 of this Atlantic issue from 2 years ago, predicting what would happen if Trump wins, it's called The Psychic Toll by Jennifer Senior. There were times during the first 2 years of the Biden presidency when I came close to forgetting about it all. The taunts and the provocations, the incitements and the resentments, the disorchestrated reasoning, the verbal incontinence, the press conferences fueled by megalomania, vengeance, and a soupçon of hydroxychloroquine. I forgot almost that we'd had a man in the White House who governed by tweet. I forgot that the news cycle had shrunk down to microseconds. I forgot even that we'd had a president with a personality so disordered and a mind so dysregulated, this being a central irony, that our nation's top executive had zero executive function, that the generals around him had to choose between carrying out presidential orders and upholding the Constitution. I forgot, in short, that I'd spent nearly 5 years scanning the Veld for threats, indulging in the most neurotic form of magical thinking, convinced that my monitoring of Twitter alone was what stood between Trump and national ruin, just as Erica Jong believed that her concentration and vigilance were what kept her flight from plunging into the sea. Say what you want about Joe Biden. He's allowed us to go days at a time without remembering he's there. But now here we are, faced with the prospect of a Trump restoration. We've already seen the cruelty and chaos that having a malignant narcissist in the Oval Office entails. What will happen to the American psyche if he wins again? What will happen if we have to live in fight or flight mode for 4 more years and possibly far beyond? This is on you, okay? Your neurosis is your problem. Neuroticism is more common in women than in men. It's one of the big 5 personality traits, and it's one of the things that is highly sexed, okay? Full disclosure, this is one of many places that I myself am gender nonconforming. I both have extremely low neuroticism and have very little patience for it in other people. So my reaction to this is kind of extreme. I simply have no patience for your bullshit. Your anxiety, your neuroticism is a you problem, not a rest of us problem. Our entire culture has been turned into the neuroses of some women have become the problem of the rest of us. And it's insane. It's just insane. So neuroticism is, broadly speaking, having a negative reaction to events as they happen, tending towards negative emotions rather than positive ones. So things like fear, anxiety, anger, and sadness. People high in neuroticism are more likely to have negative interpretations of events, greater difficulty dealing with stress. They're more likely to lash out at others and conclude that ordinary situations are impossible or untenable. So, of course, women who are, on average, higher in neuroticism are going to be more likely to view what they already see as a negative as world-ending. The sky is falling. But it's in their power, your power. You are the individual who's experiencing this. It is in your power to reframe your response to it. And that doesn't mean that you may not want to make change in the world, but your neuroticism, enough that it actually shows up in the Atlantic's issue about what will happen if Trump wins, we're all going to have a psychic toll. We're all going to be neurotic. No, we're not. Even those of us who are displeased with what is playing out and don't like a lot of what is happening can do so without the anxiety and the fear and the anger and the, frankly, insanity that you are inflicting on the rest of us. You aren't allowed to make a you problem an our problem, and yet you're doing it. And it is our, not just it is not just our right, but our responsibility to resist your neuroticism from taking over more.
And really, honestly and truly, you see this with as more women, even though they're supposed to be, I should say modern women, even though they're supposed to be being fair about things, they say they're unbiased. Really what they want to do is control media. They want to get in these positions and they want to control and direct based on what they want to do, right? They put their feelings at the forefront of a lot of things. Now, obviously, there are plenty of women out there that try to think in a manner to where they're being fair, they're being unbiased, and they're making good decisions. But these types of women, modern women that write stuff like this, and just because you don't write it doesn't mean that you don't believe it. Modern women who subscribe to this type of ideology definitely put their feelings at the forefront. They put their feelings before everybody. Men have begun to see this sort of action long ago. And that's why men aren't dating anymore, because they see these types of modern women putting themselves before family, putting themselves before your spouse, putting themselves before the kids. I said it before, I say it again. Even single mothers out there, they say, oh, I prioritize my kid, but they ain't telling you that they're the number one priority. You got to really force them and get them angry before they say, well, I got to take care of me first. And then even then they're trying to soften the blow. Well, I got to make sure I'm okay. I got to make sure that I'm good before I take care of my child. Yes, I think we all know that to a degree. But I think what we're saying is when we ask a man a question, who's your priority? He's not going to say himself, then the child. He's going to say, my first priority is taking care of my wife and my kids, taking care of my family. Well, what about yourself? Well, man is supposed to sacrifice. Man is supposed to make sure that everybody's good. If I have to, I'll wait until everybody else eats before I eat. Oh, man, you don't think? Yeah, man, I understand. Well, if you don't eat, ain't nobody. How you going to go out there and get more stuff for them? I know, man. I just going to have to figure it out. I don't know what else to do. I just going to have to figure it out. That's what men do. That's what they do. That's what they expect a man to do. I expect that answer from you. But for me as a woman, I don't expect that from myself. I expect myself to say, oh no, I need to make sure that I'm fed, well nourished, and taken care of. So then I can take care of my family. And to a degree, I guess you can say that makes sense, because without you eating and making sure you're nurtured, then the child who's trying to maybe breastfeed or something like that is going to have a tough time breastfeeding, right? But I think my point is, after you wean the child off of that stuff, because you have phases, the woman, the modern woman, is still going to put herself before everybody. Her feelings are going to come before everybody. These modern women will take you on a vacation or a birthday trip that'll be about all the stuff that they wanted to do. And when a man says, I appreciate the effort, but I didn't want to do nearly half of this stuff, probably 70-80% of the stuff I didn't want to do. About the only place we went was this restaurant, this spot over here that I like, and that's not even what I wanted to do for my birthday. But I do appreciate the effort. And that's when, and men dare not say that to modern women, because that's when they start crying and boo-hooing and talking about, oh, you don't appreciate my effort, I'm never doing anything for you again. Once again, her feelings coming to the forefront and staying there until you say, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to offend you. I didn't mean to offend you. It's my birthday. You offended me by going over here and not doing the stuff that I wanted to do, by being out of touch. You offended me. You should be apologizing. But once again, like she was saying, their feelings always come first. Their feelings are pushed to the forefront before anybody else's.
This is a lot to unpack. First things first, this is their anniversary. So this is the one time out of the entire year they're not supposed to argue. And she still found a way to get upset about something. You read the comments and she's, he just upset me a little bit. I'll be okay though. Like literally, you're willing to throw out a gift your husband gave you because he made you mildly upset. And you started an argument on the anniversary. And you don't realize that you're the issue. Imagine you buy a man a PlayStation with your own money and you give it to him as a gift for your anniversary. But then you say something that makes him mildly upset, and he takes that PlayStation out and throws it in the fucking garbage. What would you think of that man? Facts are, at the end of the day, that this is a toxic relationship. No woman should be in a relationship with a man she doesn't appreciate or recognize does things for her. A woman that's quite literally willing to throw roses out isn't a woman that you need to be dating, especially when it's over something meaningless. You read the comments and she's like, oh, he just made me a little upset. I'll be all right, though. Like, I would never step foot anywhere near a woman that has a mentality like this. I pray to God that the husband she has wakes up and stops allowing himself to be abused, because that's just disgusting. First things first, you got to break it down. They're having a fight on their anniversary. He bought 150 roses on their anniversary. This is probably the only time in the entire year y'all should not fight about anything. And she still found a way to get pissed off and throw away his gift that he got her. Disgusting.
And no sooner did we talk about modern women putting their feelings to the forefront, pushing their feelings to the forefront. I got upset, and so this is what I'm going to do. This is the thing that I'm going to be involved in. No sooner did we just get through talking about that we see this woman exhibiting this type of behavior. Not only is it exhibiting this type of behavior bad enough to be doing around the house, him catching you online on camera doing it, but it's worse because you decide to go back, get the video, and post it online, talking about, here you go, this is what you wanted, this is what you're going to get. Like he was saying, it'd be like me taking the PlayStation that you bought me, really any console, taking the console that you bought me, going, dumping it in the trash as a big FU. And y'all wonder why y'all don't get anything. Y'all wonder why men don't buy y'all stuff. Y'all wonder why men don't want to be married to y'all. It's because y'all let y'all feelings take over everything. Y'all become, and in this situation, this definitely applies, a loser. You become a loser and you think that's cute. You think it's funny to act like this. A man goes out, puts forth a lot of effort, you get mad. As a matter of fact, another example, personal example, I ain't gonna spread their business all out like that. I was talking to somebody that I know just today about Valentine's. Oh man, what you got going on for yourself? Oh, I don't know nothing much. What about you? Well, I'm not 100% sure because the state of our relationship right now, I don't know where we are. It's not too good. She seemed like she upset with me, and I'm not sure what's going on. I was going to try to do, 14 days of love. She's going through a tough time right now. So, just try to show her some love. And I tried to send her, and it showed me that she sent her Tiff Treats cookies, right? I know Tiff Treats is pretty expensive. Well, I had a coupon. Even still, you got it delivered. Oh, and I sent her flowers. Oh, and by the way, I took her out for some crawfish. How much is crawfish nowadays? Well, when I took her out, she got crawfish and mussels, so it was about $100, $100, $100. And that's not the only time y'all went out and got crawfish. Y'all done been doing, you specifically have been doing the quote unquote 14 days of love. And on the 4th day, she blew up. You got 10 more days to go. And she blew up on 4. That's a little, what? That's a little over a quarter. You got a little over 25% of the way and you blew up. Ungrateful much? Your looks are not going to get you to the finish line. Your attitude is what's going to hold you back. Modern women don't seem to understand that. Your nasty, stupid, silly, childish, toddler-like attitude has to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. This loser female epidemic has to go.
It's funny when people are like, oh my God, your kids look just alike. Well, yeah, that's what happens when they have the same dad.
You let him hit it wrong. You didn't have second thoughts. Now you're singing
Maman dit travailler c'est bien, bien mieux qu'être mal accompagné, pas vrai?
False. That's hitting the copium pretty hard, as the kids say. Science can help you do better and know what men are actually looking for. I'm Max Butterfield, Dr. Max Butterfield. I study this kind of thing for a living. 3 science-backed facts you should know about what men actually want. Number 1, men want somebody who's physically attractive. A lot of people don't like it when that comes up, but that's the truth. And to be honest, that is completely reasonable and fair. And that is what the research supports. Number 2, men, maybe surprisingly to some, want someone who is kind and warm. So it's not just all about looks. You have to be a nice, good person, at least if you want to attract a man. Number 3, sorry, that's how it goes. Number 3, men are looking for someone who is faithful and stable. This could be emotional stability. This could be physical stability. It could be all sorts of different entanglements, different measurements, different ways of saying they want somebody who's not going to bring chaos to their life. Speaking of things that aren't going to bring chaos to your life, the influencers will, but I won't. Follow me for more science every day, more truth every day.
28 years old. You got with a guy that might have not been the best guy back when you were 21.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting older, you've seen the dating marketplace, and you realize that there's nothing out there for you and your son. So you're trying to make it work now. But when you had that FOMO 6 years ago, you didn't have that mindset. You thought you could do better. You thought, I'm going to go find another guy, etc., and didn't pan out for you. Because here's the difference between men and women. You guys leave relationships thinking you can do better. 9 out of 10 times. Women only leave if they know they can monkey branch to something better. And you thought you could do something better. But now you're realizing you can't. You're 28 years old, epiphany phase is coming around, still not married, kid out of wedlock, he's getting older, men don't want to come in and take care of your kid. You're waking up.
Daycare was the feminist agenda. It was about the second wave of feminism. They said, put your babies in daycare. It's the only way you're going to go back to work and work. And they didn't talk about children. The first wave of feminists, they talked about children. Mary Shelley and Mary Wollstonecraft, they believed that mothering was powerful work. It was work. It was a career. It was admired. It was elevated. They also believed in fighting the patriarchy. They believed in equality, but they didn't forget about mothering. The second wave of feminists, I think it was Betty Friedan said that staying at home with your children was, she called it a concentration camp with comforts. That was the beginning of the tide. That's when the tide turned for women, where the narrative changed. So women felt women who were loving being mothers and loving raising children suddenly were told that they were in a concentration camp and that they were prisoners and oppressed. And some of them were, and some of them probably shouldn't have had children, and many of them weren't. And even today, people write me every day and say, thank you for saying what you say, because society's narrative is so much about we have no value unless we go out into the workforce.
And you know, this sounds a lot like I would say the concept that I've talked about when modern women say, oh, we don't need relationships anymore. Somebody in a PhD program was breaking it down, and she was essentially saying, well, we don't need men anymore because we have this, and this. Yes, you have to create a system to kind of overcome what men already, or replace what men already do. Men can handle what you're talking about. Men can handle probably, if you have 10 jobs, men are probably on a regular basis handling 7 or 8 of those jobs. And you have to go get whatever it is from the outside for the other 2 or 3, if that many. A lot of men out there are able to handle, really honestly and truly, all of them. But in order to be effective and efficient, let's stay around 7 to 8. Modern women, when they lose the man, or they say, I don't need no man, they have to outsource all of the stuff that they're not getting from a man. And this is one of them. Well, we'll just find a woman who loves babies that wants to keep them all day. And we can put them over here, and then we can go out and do what we want. Yeah, but you never see your children. So what's the point in having children if you're never going to see them? I know you got to go out. Well, I got to go out and work. Yeah, that makes sense. But at some point in time, that's what men are kind of trying to say. It might not be for everybody, but hey, if we get together, I have a vision. Your life can look like this, and this if we build it together. Right? But modern women too busy hollering and screaming and kicking, and they don't realize that they're ruining a good thing. There was a woman that recently, I think she was in Houston somewhere, went to something called the Crush Club, and essentially saying, well, I met a man up there, and we got to get to knowing each other, and he said, well, I'm a little bit traditional, and I would love it if basically I believe in the woman staying home and taking care of the family and raising the kids, and me as the man going out and working and yada yada. And she, oh well, I didn't go to college for all these years to be an engineer and to stay at home and do what a man tells me to do. Okay, well, you don't have to stay at home all of the time, but you've been up there at work all the time, which is probably what you're going to do, is going to be a problem, because you're never going to see your kid. Oh, well, I have the American dream. I have the kids. I have the house. Yeah, but you don't see your kids. You're going to grow up and your kids going to be like, yeah, I never even saw mom. Dad was at home. I saw dad. Dad would get off. He would come pick us up from grandmama's house, but mom be working late into the night. I never saw her. She never really spent all that much time with us. Yep. That's pretty much what it is. Because this is what you wanted, because you decided to, well, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna give this over here, I'm gonna give this over there. And essentially what they're saying, and daycare is just one problem. Essentially what they're saying is, I'm moving this over here, my responsibility, or what I'm good at, I'm gonna move it over here, and over this over here, I'm gonna move it over here, and this over here, I'm gonna move it over there. I'm gonna take all of my responsibilities and put them off to the side and give them to everybody else. So now I can go after this career and making money. And then what I'm going to try to do is sell a man on how good I am, because I can make this amount of money. I'm a boss babe. We're going to be a power couple. Look at the clothes that I can dress in. Look at the car that I can drive. Look at the house that I bought myself. Look at the degree that I got. He's going to be so impressed. He's going to be so happy that I was able to achieve all of this. And you go back to the man at the Crush Club and he say, oh man, that's all that, that's great. That's fantastic. But it doesn't really fit what I need. And then all of a sudden you back out there like, oh, what was it for? Oh man, these men are intimidated because you don't want to feel like what you did was for nothing. Oh, these men are intimidated. They can't handle me. Oh man, they too scared to approach. No, I don't want to have anything to do. What? You a beautiful woman, but there's nothing that I need. I don't really need all that. Like, that's something that you did, and you got to live with that.
I was in college. I dated a very traditional Christian man who asked me at one point, how do you feel about after you graduated, we just immediately got married and you were a stay-at-home wife and you didn't have to work? I was honestly offended by that question because I was so passionate about this thing that I was getting a degree in that I was just so eager to enter the workforce and do this thing that I loved and get money for it. Fast forward to today, I've graduated, we broke up, I'm now working in the profession of the thing that I got a degree in, and I changed my mind. I changed my mind. I don't want to do it anymore. I'm done.
Men would never invest in a woman that is not physically their type, so why on earth should women invest in men who are not financially their type?
A fair point, I can understand that. However, we all know that men get better as we age. So then why would we invest in a depreciating asset?
This game doesn't work because if men know that you are around other guys and they're going out with you on a Tuesday and you're going out with somebody else on a Wednesday, it doesn't work the way you think it does. It doesn't work the way it would if it was a guy doing it, how you'd feel. They're not the same. They get like their stomachs turn when they think about, oh, she could be sleeping with other guys, or she's on a date with other guys, or she's doing this with other guys. Like, you become less attractive to them. Right? You just do. They don't want to think about that. They don't want, like, that's now a woman who's like out and about doing God knows what. It's unattractive. They lose attraction for you in that game. It doesn't work the same the other way. When it's the other way and women see a guy who has options, that guy becomes more attractive to them. They're like, I want to secure him. I want to do whatever I need to do to secure that guy. Because why? Why? Because the guy is supposed to be their rock, right? Because they want to ultimately lean on that man. Because if they want to stay home and have their kids, they need that man to be solid and reliable and dependable and a provider and a protector and all of those things. It's a totally different dynamic, and women get stuck in the head of, I can play the game that was played on me, only you're a woman and he's a guy, and it doesn't work the other way around. It doesn't work. Don't play this game, ladies. Don't play this game. It's going to bite you in the behind.
You say that men's attractiveness goes up, their value goes up with age, and then for
After
women,
30s, right?
For women, it goes down. So in your game, in like 20 years, he's some hunk and my tits are touching the floor. So like, what the fuck am I supposed to do?
It's a question that women are concerned about. It's one of the arguments that they have towards the lifetime commitment of marriage. And again, we want what we don't yet have. And one of the really tragic things about human relationships is you are relating to me because you think on some level that I can give you what you want. If I don't give you what you want, you'll probably go find somebody else who will over a long enough timeline.
Depends on what the thing is. How important is it to me?
Okay.
Right? Not all my needs can always be met, for example.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
But certainly people don't persist in situations where they feel like they're not getting anything that they want.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
Anything,
so they're
yeah.
going to go where it seems like they can get more of what they want and potentially less of what they don't. So if you see that I have what you want and I don't give it to you, you're going to probably leave. However, if I say, okay, I'll give it to you, you're going to be like, okay, I'll stay. But in the act of giving it to you, you now need me less. And that's the tragic thing about human relationships is you need me less because I gave you what you wanted. Let's say you want to get married to have kids. And so you marry a woman because she's kind, she has a maternal instinct, she's great with children. Okay, well, you had 3 kids. They're all in college. You're empty nesters now in your late 50s, early 60s. The way that people are living, they could live another 20 or 30 years. That's a long time. Now what? Are we just going to coast on gratitude for having received what we wanted decades ago? It would be nice if people could survive on gratitude, but that's not how I see people operate, for better or for worse. And so that woman, on some level, becomes less valuable to that man as a consequence of giving that man what he wanted, i.e. a mother for his children.
And if she doesn't give him what he wants, he
would have chosen somebody else. So she got 18 or 20 years. But if she then doesn't find another need of his to satisfy and discharge, then he's just going to be there kind of out of potentially obligation, which
sucks.
I mean, it sucks actually for both people.
No, it's not a nice place to be if you're like, I know he's with me because he, just wants to be kind of kind, but he doesn't really want to be here. I'd much rather.
It doesn't seem very kind, does it?
No, you don't even, but it's not good for either.
Somebody here in the comments said, back in history, you stayed and it didn't matter if you were meeting each other's needs. You just got on with it on whatever terms you could. Yeah, I think that's what a lot of modern women are trying to kind of get away from because they feel oppressed, right? But also, I think a lot of modern women don't know how to, they're really not built for marriage, is what it is. Like at the first sign of hardship, they want to leave, right? Obviously, you don't sit around and take somebody abusing you and putting their hands on you and all that other stuff. But also, you have to learn that things are going to be hard. And that's the issue that a lot of modern women have. I don't want to meet the man's needs. I'm not trying to do anything for the man, right? He should be looking to meet my needs. And if I should ever be in the mindset to step out of my utter divine femininity and goddess nature, then I will grant some of his wishes, and he should be grateful for those until the next time.
We're in a generation obsessed with fake love and protecting your energy, and healing isn't cutting people off. It's not about weaponizing your past. It's made so many people more selfish, and it's what I like to call this spiritualized avoidance, right? New Age spirituality convinces you that your feelings are more important than your responsibilities, and that putting yourself first means blaming everyone else in your past forever so that you get to always play the victim. And you see so many people doing the work, but can't even hold a conversation without defensiveness, right? Can't take feedback without taking offense, and can't keep relationships unless they revolve around their emotional comfort. And the hard truth is, if you want to heal, you have to take full ownership of your emotions, of your reactions, and even your patterns. And it's not about erasing your experiences. I'm not saying that, but it's saying this happened, but it's not who I am. And it's using the pain as fuel to grow, not as proof that you're broken. And that's the biggest thing, is we need to stop weaponizing our trauma and making it a part of your identity, because it's not.
Guys, women don't have political opinions the way men do, not usually. Like, if you talk to girls about politics, 90% of the time they can't explain why they think what they think. They submit to political authority. And traditionally, it was supposed to be their husband, because then you'd have cohesive family units. But we've perverted that kind of godly natural order, and now women submit to just broader political parties or society at large. That is why you have these girls out here with a shaved head in 20-degree weather and a baby on their hip protesting the deportation of a violent criminal rapist from 1,000 miles away. That is not a person with opinions. That is a pimped woman, okay? Because women tend to be very loyal to the thing that they submit to. And if it's not a man who loves them, it's going to be some kind of broader entity. It'll be like, the left or the right or whatever. And people know this at a high level. That's why women are always the foot soldiers of the new revolution. They tend to think this way. It's only your kind of dumb, low-level rube people who pretend this is not the case. Women are all like little men. Like, oh, they're just suffragettes. They just have their own opinions. Yeah, really? Okay. And it's usually men's job to guide and protect them from this horseshit, because it's not to their own good. You see these women who are like really, really invested in politics, and they're like the most miserable people of all time. And second, women have a comportment towards things that are beneath them of compassion, typically, because it's supposed to be directed towards children and, the sick and the elderly in your community, because they're supposed to be nurturing and caregiving. But when you pervert that or you co-opt it, you can direct it towards certain political identities, such as, violent criminal rapists from 1,000 miles away, or sexual degenerates, in order to push a certain agenda and unravel society in whichever way you see fit. Okay? And it's not their fault that they're bound by their nature. It's our fault for pretending that they're not.
He was turned off that at Sada Baby to K17 for prom.
Well, looks like African American men have another 50 years of not having suitable wives to marry. And did you see the young man who was her prom date? He was intelligent enough to be embarrassed. Back to the streets with her. Turbulence, people!
I mean, the mannerisms are so masculine, man. The mannerisms are so masculine. Like, where's the femininity? Just the way that you be acting, just like a dude. Dressed like a lady, but you act like a dude. This is a young lady, I'm presuming. Nah,